Korea is experiencing its largest influenza outbreak since 2016, with cases rising sharply, particularly among teenagers, according to the Korea Disease Control and Prevention Agency.
국내에서 청소년층을 중심으로 독감 환자가 빠르게 늘면서 2016년 이래 최대 규모의 유행세를 보이고 있다고 질병관리청이 밝혔습니다.
Yeah, so there's definitely an influenza bug going around, and I know you can attest to that because
Yes.
your children are both infected
Yes,
by
indeed.
influenza right now. Because if you look at the numbers, last week or the last week of December 22nd to 28th, numbers showed that out of 1,000 outpatient visits, 73.9 cases were reported. And that's a big increase compared to the 31.3, so more than double the previous week. And also, if you compare that to 2016, when it reached 86.2, we're reaching almost record levels at this point. So, and if you want to compare it to last year, it's much higher as well. And of course, we all lived through the coronavirus pandemic. Surprisingly, during the pandemic, these influenza-like illness rates actually dropped to half that level.
Yeah.
So I guess we didn't have influenza, but we had another deadly virus, right? So
Some experts are saying because we didn't have a lot of people getting the flu during the COVID pandemic, our immune systems may have actually gotten weaker to this particular type of flu.
yeah, that's a very interesting point because even right now, the flu cases that are reported recently, the majority are affecting teenagers right now. So youngsters who are still developing their immune system.
그렇습니다. 자, 청소년들을 중심으로 독감, 인플루엔자 환자가 빠르게 늘고 있습니다. 그리고 보통 인플루엔자를 영어로 줄여가지고 flu라고 하죠.
Or the flu.
The flu라고도 하고요.
Yep.
그래서 독감 예방 접종은 flu shot라고
shots.
보통 합니다. 네.
Do you normally get your seasonal flu shots?
My kids do.
Your kids do.
Sometimes I do.
Well, you probably have a stronger immune system than them.
Free for the kids,
Yeah.
and I have to pay.
Oh, is that why?
But also I have a better immune system.
What about
too.
your long-term health, Sue? You can't put a cost to that.
I have yet to get my shot, but I think I should now. 근데 이제 보통 독감 주사를 맞으면은 효과가 나타날 때까지는 한 2주, 3주 이렇게 시간이 걸린다라고 하지요.
And my understanding is there's no cure for the flu or the cold, right? And these are a little different.
그렇습니다.
My understanding is the flu is a more serious type
그렇습니다.
of
네,
cold.
그럼요. 네. 그리고 이번에 사실은 예방 접종률도 매우 낮았다고 해요.
okay.
그런 거랑 이번에 또 많이 독감에 걸린 거랑도 무관하지는 않겠다. 또 이렇게 전문가들이 보고 있더라고요.
Yeah. So basically, just be careful, everybody.
Yes.
This flu bug is going around.
네. 자, flu 이거는 이제 원래 단어 influenza라고 하셨는데
Yeah.
What's an influenza outbreak?
Yeah, so we heard this during the pandemic a lot too. When there's an outbreak, it's a sudden rise in something, an increase in something like a disease, or something violent, like the outbreak of war,
Yep.
or an infestation of insects. There was an outbreak of locusts or something like that.
자, outbreak는 명사. 그래서 한 단어인데요. 이걸 동사로 바꿨을 때는 순서를 바꿔가지고 break out 이렇게 표현을 하죠. 그러면은 뭔가 쫙 퍼진다 이런 뜻입니다. 동사로서는 something broke out. 명사할 때는 a breakout. An outbreak.
Right. Although you can use that in noun form too. A breakout is also a noun.
Oh,
Which,
yes.
If you're escaping from prison or jail,
그러네요.
that's a prison breakout. If you have trouble with your skin, I'm having a breakout with my
that's
skin as well.
true.
So those are two different meanings though.
그럴 수 있겠네요.
Outbreak and breakout.
네, 그렇습니다. 자, break out가 동사로 쓰인다는 얘기에 덧붙여서 이게 명사일 수도 있어요. 한 단어로 break out라고 했을 때는 갑자기 뾰루지가 난다. 피부에 이런 의미가 될 수도 있고 아니면 탈옥을 했다. 이런 의미가 될 수도 있는 거죠.
Or a breakout performance
그럴 때는
in a movie.
엄청나게 이제 인기를 끄는 아주 주목을 받는 그런 연기.
Yeah.
그런 거는 breakout performance.
With someone you never expected.
맞아요.
Right.
네. 뜻이 굉장히 다양해서
Yeah, this is why English is
헷갈릴 수
difficult,
있는데
right?
그래서 이제 컨텍스트가 중요하고
Yes.
그렇지만 전체적인 이미지는 다 비슷해요. 뭔가
Yeah.
이렇게 팍 터지는 이미지.
Because the word out is in
Yes,
there. Yeah.
that's right. 자, influenza outbreak는 독감이 이렇게 발생하는 것을 말합니다. 그 다음에는 particularly.
Yeah, this one's particularly difficult to pronounce sometimes. It's
Yes.
5 syllables. So
Yeah.
particularly means specifically or especially.
Sure. 그렇죠. 특히, 특별히를 이렇게 표현을 하죠. 다시 한번 제가 읽어보겠습니다. Korea is experiencing its largest influenza outbreak since 2016, with cases rising sharply, particularly among teenagers, according to the Korea Disease Control and Prevention Agency. Now let's move on to the second headline.
Korean car makers' domestic sales of eco-friendly cars hit a new record last year, driven by the popularity of hybrid models.
지난해 국내 완성차 5개사의 친환경차 내수 판매량이 하이브리드 모델의 인기에 힘입어 역대 최다 기록을 경신한 것으로 나타났습니다.
Yeah, so the total amount of sales of these eco-friendly cars, which include hybrids, electric vehicles, and I believe, what do you call them? The hydrogen-powered
Right.
fuel cell cars, right? The vast majority, 88%, were in fact hybrids, which saw an 11% increase in 2024 compared to the previous year. But electric cars actually went down. It dropped 21%. And I can take a wild guess as to why electric vehicles may have decreased. Obviously, there were some high-profile accidents with fires, electric cars catching fire. So that may be the case. I'm not sure. I'm guessing on that. But hybrids are going out. They're becoming more popular, continuing to be more popular, and electric vehicles are actually going down.
Exactly. 맞아요. 지금 이제 eco-friendly cars가 인기다라고 했는데 사실 이제 전기차의 판매량은 좀 떨어졌고
Yeah.
뭐 하이브리드라든지 이런 eco-friendly cars는 좀 더 많이 팔리고 있는 모습이에요. sales가 판매인데 domestic sales.
Yeah, so it means basically all the cars that were sold within Korea, within the borders of the country, so at home.
네. 국내 판매 이거를 domestic sales라고 하고요. 국내라는 뜻으로 at home을 지금 표현해 주셨어요. 이런 말도 씁니다. 이게 이제 국내니까 in the country라고 해야 될 것 같지만 at home이라고만 해도 맥락에 따라서는 국내라는 의미가 있고요. 그 다음에 domestic가 진짜 가정 내에라는 의미도 따로 있어요.
Yes, that's the root. So you would call dogs and cats domesticated animals, right?
That's right. 그러네요. 우리가 집에서 키울 수 있는 그런 동물들을 domesticated animals.
As opposed to wild animals.
Yes, exactly. Driven by something?
Yeah, so again, no pun intended with this news article. So these sales were driven by something, meaning they were motivated or they were moved by, in this case, hybrid models. Right?
그렇죠. 무엇에 힘입어? Driven by. And often case with news stories, they try to use verbs or adjectives that are related to the actual story.
Yeah,
don't they?
I can almost guarantee you that whoever wrote this original article probably didn't do that by accident. Yeah.
그렇죠.
Because you can use other words. So it was spurred on by
Yeah.
hybrid models. It was led by. Yeah, exactly.
이런 단어를 쓸 수도 있는데 굳이 이제 driven by를 고른 것은 아마도 추측하건대 우리도 이제 기사를 써본 사람으로서 이게 운전과 관련이 있는 차량과 관련이 있는 기사라서 driven by라는 표현을 고르지 않았을까. led by를 써도 똑같은 의미인데 그렇게 좀 추측이 됩니다. 자, 그럼 다시 한번 제가 읽어볼게요. Korean car makers' domestic sales of eco-friendly cars hit a new record last year, driven by the popularity of hybrid models.
The Indian government has conveyed its concerns to China about Beijing's plan to build a hydropower dam in Tibet on the Yarlung-Zangbo River, which flows south into India and Bangladesh.
중국이 인도와 방글라데시까지 흐르는 티베트 지역 얄룽창포강에 수력 발전용 댐을 건설하기로 하자 인도 정부가 이에 대한 우려를 중국에 전달했습니다.
Yeah, so China right now is constructing this dam. It's in the Tibet region,
Yeah.
and it's one of the largest types of dams in the world. It's a hydropower dam, so it can generate up to 300 billion kilowatt hours of electricity annually. The problem is it's upstream. in this river, the
Yeah.
Yarlung Zangbo, but that becomes the Brahmaputra River, which flows into India and Bangladesh. And so, what India and Bangladesh, or in this case, the Indian government, is concerned about how this new dam will affect sort of the ecosystem in that area.
Yeah, I'm looking at the map right now. It's not too far off from Mount Everest.
Yeah, these are the concerns. So it's in this area called the Big Bend, where it's bigger than the Grand Canyon in China.
okay.
And this region is an earthquake-prone region. There's also landslides. It's also very remote. So there's a lot of concern about this mega project by China, which India, has conveyed over to China, right?
그렇습니다. 자, 티베트 남쪽에 있고요. 그러다 보니까 인도 그리고 방글라데시와 매우 근접한 지역에 있는 그 강에 수력 발전용 댐을 건설한다고 하니까 이제 인도 정부가 우려를 표명한 겁니다.
Yeah, because this region is a very there have been clashes in the past
Yes.
between China and India. There's a disputed border there,
That's right.
which has sort of calmed down. There's been an agreement, but this is all a part of that.
자, 그럼 아까 수력 발전소는 hydro power plant, 아니면 수력 발전용 댐, hydro powered dam 이렇게 표현할 수 있는데요. 자, 그런 거를 하겠다라고 중국이 발표를 하니 인도에서 또 우려를 표명했습니다. They conveyed their concerns.
Yeah, so they expressed or communicated their concerns. When governments do that, it's probably in the form of a written statement or through their delegation, I suppose, an ambassador.
Yes. convey, convey, 뭔가 전달하다, deliver 이런 뜻이고요. What about flowing into?
Yeah, when something flows into something, it moves sort of in, if it's a liquid, it's like a stream-like manner, or something that circulates, or anything that glides too could flow, like your hair in a very smooth way.
아하, 그래요. flow into 어디로 흘러가다 이런 의미가 되겠네요. 그래요. 그 야릉장보 river라고 하는데 영어로 우리말로는 이제 얄룽창포강 이렇게 표현을 합니다.
Yeah, if we can go back to convey too, you think of a conveyor belt. So like in an assembly line. An assembly line or the luggage would be a conveyor belt. So you're moving something, you're transmitting or communicating or expressing it in verbal form.
컨베이어 벨트가 그러면은 그 벨트를 통해서 뭔가가 전달이 되는 거군요.
Exactly.
아하,
Yes.
물건이 이렇게 움직이니까 알겠습니다. 자, 다시 한번 제가 읽어볼게요. The Indian government has conveyed its concerns to China about Beijing's plan to build a hydropower dam in Tibet on the Yarlung-Zangbo River, which flows south into India and Bangladesh. Let's move on to the next headline.
A Japanese woman recognized as the world's oldest person by Guinness World Records and who was born 6 years before World War I has died, aged 116.
제1차 세계대전 발발 6년 전에 태어나 세계 최고령자 기록을 가진 일본 여성이 116세 나이로 타계했습니다.
Yeah, so the woman here in question, or I guess we're talking about, is her name is Tomiko Itooka, and she died in her nursing home recently in the city of Ashiya. She became the oldest person in the world after the previous record holder was in Spain, who passed away at 117. If you're curious, I think the oldest person ever to live lived up to a little over 120. So she didn't reach that point as well. But just to put into perspective, so she was born in 1908. Wow. Think about that. So this was 6 years before World War I. And it was also the same year the Ford Model T, speaking of conveyor belts and assembly lines, Henry Ford, the same year that car was launched. Wow. So she was living history, you can say.
Yeah. And she was recognized as the world's oldest person.
Yes. By Guinness Records.
Guinness World Records, yeah.
Right. So when you recognize something, you acknowledge or honor something a lot of times. And the spelling in the American way uses a Z. The British way will use an S, I believe, right?
That's right. In Canada, do you use Z like America?
I believe it's a Z.
Okay. 네. 자, recognize 무엇으로 인정받다. 내지는 무언가 알아볼 때요. Oh, I recognized you in the crowd. 여러 사람들이 있는 중에 너를 알아봤다. I recognize the celebrity. 알아보다라는 의미로도 많이 쓰거든요. 그런데 스펠링이 북미권에서는 ZE, 그리고 영국과 많은 영영박 국가에서는 SE 이렇게 씁니다.
Yes, and I've confirmed Canada does spell it with the Z, so it's
네.
a hybrid sort of situation there.
캐나다는 사실 영연방 국가인데 미국 바로 옆에 있기 때문에 어떤 단어들은 영국식으로 쓰고 또 어떤 단어들은 미국식으로 써요. 그래서 제가 매번 이렇게 여쭙게 되거든요. 저도 좀 배웁니다. 이런 단어는 또 이렇게 쓰는구나. 자, recognized as something, 무엇으로 인정받는다. The world's oldest person.
Yeah, no real explanation needed here. It's a superlative. It's the person who's lived the longest. Their life
Sure.
expectancy outliving pretty much everyone else. And this reminds me, former President Jimmy Carter
Yes.
lived to 100. He was a centenarian.
Yep.
Is that what you call it?
Yep.
Yes.
And he was the oldest living US president.
Exactly.
네. 자, the world's oldest person 아니면 기네스 보면 다 그런 거죠. The world's tallest person,
Yeah.
the world's shortest person 뭐 그런 거죠.
The world's longest fingernails,
그렇죠.
things like that.
네,
Yeah.
the world's longest hair
Yeah.
뭐 이런 거.
Yeah.
그래서 세계에서 가장 뭐뭐한 뭐뭐. The world's 그다음에 이제 superlative 들어가고 뒤에 명사가 들어올 텐데요. 여기서는 세계에서 가장 나이가 많은 사람. The world's oldest person. 다시 한번 제가 읽어보겠습니다. A Japanese woman recognized as the world's oldest person by Guinness World Records and who was born 6 years before World War I has died aged 116. Let's move on to the final headline.
South Korean all-star infielder Kim Hae-sung has clinched a 3-year deal worth $12.5 million with the Los Angeles Dodgers.
국내 유명 내야수인 김혜성 선수가 미국 프로야구팀 LA 더저스와 1,250만 달러가 보장되는 3년 계약을 체결했습니다.
Yeah, exciting news out of the sports world here. If you're a baseball fan, you probably heard that Kim Hae-sung is now, his former team was the Heroes, the Kiwoom Heroes, and he now will move to the Los Angeles Dodgers after signing this deal. The guaranteed portion of the deal is a 3-year, $12.5 million, but that could go up to a 5-year, $28 million,
Right.
depending on, he has a 2-year option that the team or the player himself can exercise
Yep.
that option. So he's now the 9th South Korean player to move to the major leagues through this posting system. So basically, it's sort of an auction that teams, a secret auction,
Yeah.
that teams will bid for players, and whoever wins out, that money goes to the team. So the Heroes will get that money, and then they negotiate their own contract with the player.
Well, it's a deal of sorts.
Yep.
And Kim Hae-sung clinched this deal.
Yes, so when you clinch a deal, you secure it. You are doing it so that it's guaranteed and it's secured.
그렇죠. clinch, C-L-I-N-C-H라는 것은요. 손에 꽉 잡다 이런 뜻이 있습니다. 그래서 뒤에 나온 deal과 같이 붙었을 때는 이러한 거래를 성사시켰다. 이렇게 보시면 되겠고요. deal이라는 게 이제 거래라는 뜻이 있는데 사실 우리 일상 대화 속에서도 많이 쓰는 단어예요.
Yeah.
그렇다고 우리가 거래를 늘 하면서 사는 건 아닌데 예를 들어서 big deal 뭐 이런 식으로 말할 수도 있고
Right.
It's a big deal for me 이렇게 말할 수도 있는데 이 big deal이라는 말이 일상 대화에서 많이 쓰이죠.
Yeah. There's an expression some people use, good deal.
Good deal.
Good deal. So not necessarily that there's any transaction, but just as a sort of way to acknowledge, okay. Oh, good deal.
Good deal.
Yeah.
그러니까 거래라는 의미가 아니라 그냥 오, 잘 됐다. 뭐 그런 의미로 good deal 이렇게
Yeah.
말할 수 있고요. big deal이라는 것은 뭐냐면은 자, 말투에 따라 의미가 달라질 수 있어요. 근데 big deal
Yeah.
이렇게 하면 참 별것도 아니네. 이런 의미가 될 수 있고요. 비꼬듯이 약간.
Yeah, yes, definitely.
아니면 정말 그냥 순수하게 it's a big deal for us.
Right.
이렇게 말하면 우리에게 이건 되게 중요한 일이에요. 이런 의미가 될 수 있어요.
So in the literal sense, we secured or clinched a business deal. You can clinch a business deal
Yep.
where you sign the contract.
Of course.
But if you say, Sue says, "Oh, I had a mocha latte for breakfast this morning." If I say, "Big deal," so
그게 뭐 이런 느낌이
What am I supposed to do about
맞아요. 그래서 그렇게 사실 굉장히 많이 쓰여요. 예. 왜냐하면은 영어는 유머와 sarcasm이 굉장히 많은 언어라는 거 아시죠? 여러분 영화도 보고 드라마를 통해서 그러다 보니까 친한 친구들끼리는 그래서 뭐 어째서 이런 농담을 많이 주고 받거든요.
I think the word is 어쩌라고.
그렇죠.
Yes.
그런 느낌인데 그때 많이 쓰는 표현이 요 deal이 들어가가지고
Yeah.
big deal 이렇게 말할 수 있어요. 근데 반드시 웃으면서 재밌게 해야지 그런 의미가 전달이 되겠고
Of course.
원래 사전적인 의미는 여러분이 잘 아시다시피 거래라는 뜻입니다. 자, 뭐 역사 속에서도 뭐 여러 가지 그 deal, big deal이라는 게 또 따로 있지만 이제 그런 이제 일상적인 의미까지 알아두시면 좋을 것 같고요.
Roosevelt. You're
그렇죠.
talking about, right?
네, 맞습니다.
Yes.
자, 다시 한번 제가 읽어볼게요. South Korean all-star infielder Kim Hae-sung has clinched a 3-year deal worth $12.5 million with the Los Angeles Dodgers. That's it for the headlines this morning with Shane.
Exports of Korean cosmetics last year surpassed $10 billion for the first time, marking a significant milestone for the K-beauty industry.
지난해 국내 화장품 수출액이 처음으로 100억 달러를 돌파하면서 K-뷰티 산업에 중요한 이정표가 마련됐습니다.
We have the latest figures from the Ministry of Food and Drug Safety, and it's astonishing. Last year, it soared by 20.6% on year to $10.2 billion. It's an astonishing amount. They're saying it's because everybody loves everything K.
Yeah.
K-pop, K-drama, K-movies, and that all influences K-beauty.
I think in general, Koreans do look younger than their age. They have good skin, and it shows in
All right.
K-dramas.
Fine.
I mean,
Okay, yeah.
and
I look older than you,
I
Sue.
consider you a Korean as well, as you've been
Not
here
quite
for
yet.
more than 20 years. So you too look very young and have wonderful skin.
Sure, but if you watch, I mean, I was watching the latest Squid Game, and you look at Gong Yu's skin and you go, how does a man in his 40s look that good?
Yes, exactly. It is thanks to the K-dramas that the
yeah.
K-cosmetics are so popular.
Absolutely. And what's really interesting is who is buying. Number one is China. They're the biggest importer of K-beauty, $2.5 billion worth. The US is next with $1.9 billion, with a much smaller country, Japan, coming in at $1 billion. If you think of the population of Japan compared to China and the US, per person, per capita,
a lot.
they're spending a lot on K-beauty.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so the total sum of exports or the money that has been earned from this surpassed $10 billion.
Yes, when we see S-U-R as opposed to S-U-B, that prefix is going to be over as opposed to sub, which means under. So surpass means it goes over. It passes by, meaning it's more than or overtakes that thing.
SUR라는 이 prefix가 넘는다는 뜻이 있군요. 그럼 surpass라는 단어도 역시 뛰어넘는다, 능가한다. 그래서 여기서 말하는 것은 바로 100억 달러를 넘었다.
Yeah, and to remember sir as a prefix, just remember surface. The surface of something is the thing on top of it.
Ah, that's true. 참고로 이제 sub라는 prefix가 붙었을 때는 아래라는 뜻이 있어서 대표적으로 뭐 submarine.
Yeah, exactly, or
단어가 있겠죠.
sub-zero temperatures.
아니면 subway.
Yeah,
이런
which
것도 있고요.
it goes under the ground.
그러네요. 자, what about significant milestone?
It's an important moment. A milestone. Here in Korea, we have kilometer stones. If you look on the highway, there are markers every single kilometer. And in the US and the UK, where we use miles, there are markers every single mile. We call them milestones.
Right.
But when we use them in our lives or business as part of a journey or being successful, they're these important moments. These moments that we will remember because it's a changing point or we broke a record or something good happened.
그렇죠. significant는 매우 중요하다, 중대하다. milestone이라는 게 이정표라는 뜻이 있는데요. 굉장히 중요한 시점이다. 아니면은 중요한 어떤 수치를 넘어선. 여기서는 사실 이제 그 100억 달러라는 수치를 넘어선 것 자체가 하나의 이정표라고 볼 수 있겠죠. 네, 그렇게 표현을 하고 있습니다. It's a significant milestone. 자, 다시 한번 제가 읽어볼게요. Exports of Korean cosmetics last year surpassed $10 billion for the first time, marking a significant milestone for the K-beauty industry. Let's move on to the next headline.
South Korea's employment and labour indicators for women have remained low among members of the OECD over the past 2 decades, due partly to the lack of adequate government support and sufficient jobs, according to the Federation of Korean Industries.
한국경제인협회 조사 결과 지난 20년간 우리나라 여성 고용 지표가 경제협력개발기구 OECD 가입국 중 하위권에 머물렀으며 여기에는 정부의 적절한 지원 및 일자리 부족이 부분적인 원인으로 작용한 것으로 나타났습니다.
Yeah, so we're lower than many countries in the OECD. Our rate for Korean women in terms of employment is 61.4%. For labour, it's 63.1%. That's for 2023. And that means we're 31st among the 38 OECD nations. When we look at Germany, Japan, and Britain, women's employment rate is above 70%. And so it feels like we need to do better in this case. We need to climb up the OECD chart. What's interesting is that we were 27th in 2003. 20 years later, we're 31st. So we've gone down in the rankings. There are 2 key areas we need to look at. The first is a flexible work environment, and the second is family care support. These are 2 big factors the Federation of Korean Industries are saying in terms of women's employment and labor.
20년 전보다 오히려 이제 순위로 봤을 때는 여성의 고용률이 떨어졌군요. OECD 국가 중에서. 자, 단어를 보겠습니다. adequate.
If something is adequate, well, it's enough for you. It doesn't mean it's a lot necessarily, but it's as much as you need.
Yep.
For example, did you have an adequate amount of time to prepare for the show this morning?
I did.
Yeah, it could be 5 minutes, it could be half an hour, it could be an hour. It's not specific, but it was enough time for Sue to be ready, and the same for me.
네. adequate 스펠링이 어떻게 되죠?
ADEQUATE. Was that adequate for you?
That was more than adequate.
Thank you very much.
충분하다라는 뜻입니다. enough랑 비슷한 거죠?
Well, yes. I mean, we're going to get with our second example as well into some nitty gritty here. Basically means the same as enough. But there's a slight difference as we get to our next word.
Alright. 자, 그럼 adequate는 일단 충분하다라는 뜻이고 다음 단어도 사실 사전적인 의미는 충분하다. 한국어 우리말로는 똑같거든요. sufficient. 근데 어떤 차이가 있을까요?
Well, you can use it to mean that it's enough, but when we use sufficient or enough, usually it's because there is an amount we need. So let's say, do you have enough flour to make the cookies? Yes, I have sufficient flour, meaning I have the amount of flour I need, or I have more than that amount. Whereas if something is adequate, we're not aiming for a target of any kind. So it's a very, very small difference. You can interchange all 3, enough, adequate, or sufficient. There is a slight difference, but it's nothing you have to really worry about until you're getting to the expert level of English.
그렇군요. 그러니까 이 adequate, sufficient, enough 세 개 다 비슷비슷하긴 하지만 보통 adequate라고 하면은 충분하긴 한데 그런데 뭔가 좀 부족한 느낌이 있는 것 같아요.
It can be. It's not a lot. You know, if you say, did you get an adequate number of presents this year? Doesn't mean you were necessarily very happy, but you got enough to be satisfied.
아, 그러니까 그냥 딱 적절한 정도 이런 느낌이 adequate라면은 sufficient는 내가 필요한 만큼의 충분한 거. 그게 내가 이 케이크를 만들기 위해서 밀가루가 예를 들자면은 뭐 200g이 필요하다. 근데 200g의 밀가루가 있어요. 그러면은 sufficient한 겁니다. 그러니까 내가 필요한 만큼이 딱 그만큼이 주어졌을 때 그때 sufficient하다라고 얘기를 하죠. enough는 뭐
It can be both.
제일 general한 단어인 것 같아요.
Yeah, because did you get enough presents this year? Yeah, I suppose I got enough. Do you have enough flour? Yes, no problem. I can make the cookies. We can use it instead of adequate or sufficient to have those 2 slightly different meanings.
네. 자, 그러면은 우리 헤드라인 제가 다시 읽어볼 텐데 이거 2 단어를 들어보시면서 다시 해석해 보시면 되겠습니다. South Korea's employment and labor indicators for women have remained low among members of the OECD over the past 2 decades, due partly to the lack of adequate government support and sufficient jobs, according to the Federation of Korean Industries.
Much of Canada and 30 US states are under weather alerts as a crippling winter storm is forecast to bring the heaviest snowfall and coldest temperatures in over a decade.
미주 지역에 10년 만에 최대 폭설 및 최저 기온을 불러올 강력한 겨울 폭풍이 예보됨에 따라 캐나다 대부분과 미국 30개 주에 관련 기상 경보가 발령됐습니다.
It's all because of a polar vortex. And this is this area of cold wind or cold air that circulates around the Arctic. And it's gone down from Canada into the US. States of emergency have been declared in Kentucky, Virginia, West Virginia, Kansas, Arkansas, and Missouri. Florida, which in winter is meant to be quite a nice place to be, is going to have freezing conditions. And so everybody's bracing for lots of snow and lots of cold weather. Washington, D.C. is going to get 5 to 9 inches of snow. They've declared a snow emergency at least until the end of Sunday. So I hope for all our listeners tuning in from America and Canada that they're all safe and tucked up, cozy at home.
네, 이 극지방에서 만들어지는 소용돌이 polar vortex로 인해서 사실 이맘때쯤 눈이 많이 오기는 하지만 지금 한 10년 만에 가장 많은 양의 눈이 예상되고 있다고 합니다. 자, 그러면 좀 표현을 볼게요. crippling winter storm이라는 표현이 있는데 crippling.
Yeah, if something is crippling or if something is crippled, then it is not able to function properly. It has been damaged or there has been a severe problem caused. So, for example, a storm may cripple a city's electricity grid. If it knocks over all the pylons, there's no way to get electricity. It used to be used for people, but we don't use this term anymore.
Right.
So please don't use it for human beings. But if you want to talk about severe damage to infrastructure or a process of work, then yes, it is still used.
네. 자, 심각한 손상을 불러일으키는 것, 그거를 crippling이라고 표현을 하고요. CRIPPLING 이렇게 씁니다. And to be forecast. Let's look at that.
Yeah, we use this very often with weather, and it means that we're predicting it. We're thinking this is what is going to happen. We can have an economic forecast as well, but weather forecast, I think, is the most common usage.
Yes. 일기예보, weather forecast 이렇게 표현을 하죠. 근데 동사로도 forecast를 쓸 수 있는데 이렇게 될 것으로 예측이 된다 이런 뜻입니다. 자, 그러면 다시 한번 제가 읽어볼게요. Much of Canada and 30 US states are under weather alerts as a crippling winter storm is forecast to bring the heaviest snowfall and coldest temperatures in over a decade. Now let's move on to the next headline.
Researchers have unpicked a mechanism linking loneliness to poor health, revealing that it can influence the levels of certain proteins associated with various diseases and even death.
한 연구진이 외로움이 건강 악화로 연결되는 메커니즘을 발견했습니다. 이에 따르면 외로움은 각종 질병 및 심지어 사망과도 관련된 특정 단백질 수치에 영향을 미칠 수 있는 것으로 나타났습니다.
So this research took in a lot of factors. So they were looking at age, sex, education level, whether they were smoking, whether they were drinking, and how much they were drinking. But they found there were 175 proteins that were associated with social isolation, with loneliness. And 26 proteins also associated with self-reported loneliness. So they found these proteins in people who had reported that they were feeling lonely or they were feeling isolated socially. And these proteins have an effect on inflammation, on antiviral responses, and on the immune system. And 90% of these proteins are linked to a higher risk of death.
Right.
So it's also linked to cardiovascular problems, to diabetes and stroke. Basically, loneliness hurts. And loneliness can actually cause more problems for us on top of whatever other issues we may have with our body.
It was already well known that poor health could lead to isolation,
Yes.
which could then lead to loneliness. But now it's the other way around, and scientists have said they have proof that being lonely can also cause poor health.
Yeah, we've often had the expression stress is a killer. Because stress really does have a negative impact on health as well. And so for me, it seems logical if stress is bad for us, loneliness is also going to be bad for us. We need community, we need friendship, we need happiness in our lives.
Well, researchers unpicked this mechanism linking loneliness to poor health. What are you doing when you unpick something?
Imagine you've got a woolen sweater or a woolen glove, and you basically unravel it. You take it apart. You pull at the threads until there's nothing left, and you can see how it's made. And when we use it in science or other kinds of discovery, it means we're examining each separate part. So we're literally pulling something apart, looking at it, looking at this bit, that bit, this bit, that bit, seeing how it works.
examining it. 자세히 들여다보는 걸 말하고요. 원래는 이렇게 실을 뽑아서 그 섬유질이 정확히 어떻게 되어 있는지, 옷이 어떤 실로 만들어졌는지 그걸 분석하는 걸 말하는 거군요.
Yeah, so for example, if you're at school, two students are fighting and the teacher says, look, stop. Okay, we're going to come to my homeroom and we're going to unpick this situation. Let's find out what's the root cause and let's make sure we can resolve it.
자세히 들여다보자. 왜 이런 일이 발생했는지. 여기서는 과학자들이 외로움과 건강 악화의 관계를 들여다봤고요. 그거에 대한 메커니즘을 발견했다. 이렇게도 해석을 할 수 있습니다. So the two are associated with each other.
Yes, meaning they're connected to each other. They're linked with each other. They have a relationship of some sort.
관련이 있다. Be associated with something. 자, 그러면 다시 한번 제가 읽어보겠습니다. Researchers have unpicked a mechanism linking loneliness to poor health, revealing that it can influence the levels of certain proteins associated with various diseases and even death. Well, let's move on to the final headline.
A bluefin tuna about the size and weight of a motorbike has been sold at Toyosu Fish Market's annual New Year auction in Japan for 207 million yen, or nearly 2 billion won, making it the second highest price ever recorded at the event.
오토바이 크기와 무게에 달하는 참다랑어 한 마리가 일본 도요스 수산시장의 연례 새해 첫 참치 경매에서 2억 7천만 엔, 우리 돈으로 거의 20억 원에 낙찰됐습니다. 이는 관련 경매 기록상 역대 두 번째로 높은 금액입니다.
Yeah, it may weigh the same as a motorbike, 276 kilograms, but I wouldn't recommend riding it.
No.
No, this is a very pricey tuna, and we see this every single year at Toyosu Fish Market. If you're not familiar with it, it opened almost 100 years ago in 1935. It claims to be the biggest fish market in the world, and tuna auctions are a regular thing every single day at dawn. But the New Year auction is the big, big auction. And, well, it was won by the Onodera Restaurant Group, and it's going to be served at their restaurants all over the country and in Tokyo. They also got the tuna last year, and the year before, and the year before that, and the year before that. 5 years straight they bought this tuna. Well, it's the highest price since records began. So it's a very expensive tuna. I hope it's delicious, and I hope their customers enjoy it.
And it weighed in at almost 280 kilograms?
It did. I think that's about 1.5 times the size of me.
That's a big fish.
It is a very big fish.
와, 276kg의 무게였다고 하고요. 네, 새해 이렇게 참다랑어 경매를 하는 게 또 굉장히 큰 행사군요. 자, about the size and weight of a motorbike.
Yes, if something is about the size and weight of something, it is similar to. So when we use about the, and we're referring to height, weight, amount, anything like that, or distance, it means it's similar to or almost the same.
About the size of, 무엇의 크기와 비슷하다. About the weight of, 무엇의 무게와 비슷하다. 두 개를 합쳐서 about the size and weight of a motorbike. 이 경우에는 오토바이고요. 아무거나 뒤에 붙이면 되겠죠? 해당되는 거에 따라서. What about an annual event?
If something is an annual event, it happens every year at the same sort of time, maybe even on the same date. For example, we've got Seollal coming up. That's an annual traditional event here in Korea. I don't think we would ever miss out on it. It's a very important event.
그렇죠. 1년에 한 번씩 열리는 그런 연례 행사를 annual event라고 부를 수가 있습니다. 다시 한번 제가 읽어볼게요. A bluefin tuna about the size and weight of a motorbike has been sold at Toyosu Fish Market's annual New Year auction in Japan for 207 million yen, or nearly 2 billion won, making it the second highest price ever recorded at the event. Well, that's it for the headlines with Paul Matthews.
Foreign direct investment pledges to Korea rose 5.7% from a year earlier in 2024 to hit a fresh high for the second consecutive year, according to the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Energy.
2024년 외국인 직접 투자 FDI 신고액이 전년보다 5.7% 증가하면서 2년 연속 최대 실적을 경신했다고 산업통상자원부가 발표했습니다. Tell us more.
Yeah, so this is according to data that was released by the ministry on Tuesday, and they say that the increase is or was driven by a sharp increase in the manufacturing sector. So looking at the figures, South Korea received $34.5 billion US dollars worth of FDI commitments last year, and it surpassed the previous record of $32.7 billion, which was posted in 2023. And the ministry explained that this shows global investors are showing confidence in the fundamentals of the South Korean economy despite the current situation in the country. So they also did say that the amount of investments that actually arrived in South Korea, because we're talking about pledges, they said that the actual amount fell 24.2% on year to arrive at $14.7 billion. The government also did add that it will make an all-out effort to establish an investment environment that meets global standards by expanding communication with international investors and offering more incentives for investment in cutting-edge sectors. So hopefully we'll see the figure grow even further in future years.
Well, I noticed you used the word commitment earlier on to talk about the pledge, the FDI pledge. What is a pledge?
Yeah, a pledge is like a promise, but it's a little bit more serious than a promise. So we use this word when we're talking about a serious or formal promise, and especially when we're talking about giving money.
서약, 맹세 이런 뜻입니다. 아주 쉽게 해석하면은 약속이지만 약속보다는 공식적인 느낌이 있는 단어고요. P-L-E-D-G-E 이렇게 씁니다. 또 다른 말로는 commitment라고 할 수도 있겠죠. 그래서 미국에서는 그 미국인들이 나라에 충성할 것을
Yes.
맹세한다라고 해가지고 뭐라 그러죠?
We pledge allegiance. So we used to do this at school every morning. Yeah,
진짜요?
we would pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and it was required for all students.
That's interesting. You didn't sing the national anthem though, did you?
No, we didn't sing the national anthem, but we would have to say the Pledge of Allegiance. Yeah.
그렇군요. 네, 저도 이제 들어보기만 해서 이렇게 학교에서 아침마다 서약을 하는 줄은 몰랐네요.
Yeah.
자, 다음으로 fresh high.
Yeah, fresh high is just another way to say it's a new high. So we use this term when a figure reaches the highest point.
A fresh high. 여기서 high가 명사인데요. 최고치라는 뜻입니다. 그렇다면 최저치는 low가 되겠죠. 자, 다시 한번 제가 읽어보겠습니다. Foreign direct investment pledges to Korea rose 5.7% from a year earlier in 2024 to hit a fresh high for the second consecutive year, according to the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Energy. Let's move on to the next headline.
South Korea has become the first Asian country and the third from outside the European Union to join Horizon Europe, the world's largest multilateral research and innovation funding program.
우리나라가 올해부터 세계 최대 다자간 연구 혁신 프로그램인 Horizon Europe에 참여합니다. 한국의 이번 참여는 유럽연합 외 국가로는 세 번째이며 아시아 국가로는 최초입니다.
Yeah. So this is pretty exciting news. They say that Korea officially began participating in Horizon Europe as an associated member on January 1st, becoming the first Asian and the third country from outside of Europe to join this very prestigious, I guess, program. Previously, New Zealand and Canada joined the program with a budget of 95.5 billion euros or approximately 98.5 billion US dollars for for 2021 to 2027. So they say that South Korea will engage in Pillar 2 of the RNI initiative, which is led by the European Union. And this focuses on conducting joint research to address global challenges and strengthen industrial competitiveness. And with the membership, Korean researchers will now be allowed to take part in this Pillar 2 work program, which will be unveiled in the first half of the year. And it will allow equal status to European researchers and apply for research funding from Horizon Europe. And South Korea will also be allowed to join the initiative's program committee as an observer. And the Ministry of Science and ICT says that joining Horizon Europe as an associated member will be an important opportunity to strengthen research cooperation with Europe, which is an advanced leader in science and technology.
So the members include not only European countries, but New Zealand and Canada as well,
Yeah.
and now South Korea. So it looks like there are many, many members in this group.
Right, many members, from different countries. So we call it a multilateral organization. So when it's multilateral, it means that it has members or contributors from several groups, especially from several different countries.
네, 다자간의 무언가는 multilateral이라고 합니다. 근데 보통 이렇게 국가 단위처럼 좀 큰 단위일 때 쓰는 표현이고요. 다국 간의라고 해석을 그래서 할 수도 있죠. 근데 만약에 두 개 국가만 참여를 하는 거면은 bilateral, 세 개국만 참여를 한다면 trilateral 이렇게 표현을 하겠죠. 뭐 혼자 하는 거면은 뭐 unilateral이라고 할 수도 있겠고. 근데 여기서는 여러 국가가 참여를 하기 때문에 multilateral group라고 볼 수 있겠습니다. Research and Innovation Program인데 a funding program이라는 표현은 또 뭘까요?
Yeah, a funding program is basically a program that receives some sort of financial support from, it could be a government or a specific organization, and it's usually for a specific purpose.
funding이라는 것은 자금을 지원한다 라는 뜻입니다. 그래서 그런 재정 지원 프로그램이라고 볼 수 있겠네요. 자, 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. South Korea has become the first Asian country and the third from outside the European Union to join Horizon Europe, the world's largest multilateral research and innovation funding program.
China has awarded a range of civil servants across the nation their first significant pay rise in years, according to sources familiar with the matter, as policymakers try to boost morale and spur spending.
중국이 전국 각지 공무원들을 대상으로 수년 만에 처음으로 큰 폭의 임금 인상을 단행했다고 관련 소식통이 전했습니다. 이는 중국 당정이 사기 진작과 소비 촉진을 위해 노력하는 가운데 나온 조치입니다. So how long has it been since this, a pay rise was made at all?
It's been quite a while. They say that China last publicly hiked civil servants' wages back in 2015.
Wow, so about a decade.
Yeah, so it's been quite a while. So it's basically like it was very unexpected apparently, so it was kind of like getting a little bonus at the end of the year. So they say that the basic salaries of many government employees have been bolstered by at least 500 won, which is around 100,000 Korean won a month.
Okay.
And so it for a lot of them it piled up for about a year because they said it was back paid since July of last year. And like I mentioned, so they last did this publicly back in 2015 when some 40 million people got an average lift of about 300 won a month. And social media users suggested that salaries were also boosted in 2018 and 2021, but this was unconfirmed by the government. So
see.
We don't know how much the percentage increases were back then. The Communist Party of China, they haven't made a public announcement on the wage hikes this time. So we don't know really how the scope of this program or who actually footed the bill. But they say that this unexpected hike extends to teachers, policemen, and bureaucrats from around the nation of 1.4 billion people. And for some, this came without any sort of explanation. So it was just more money in their bank account. So a police officer in southwestern China said that he saw a 3,500 yuan lump sum in his December pay slip labeled back payment, although he was not owed any money. And his colleagues said that it was an increment going back to July. And of course, they said that they did not want to be named, discussing that it was a private matter. And they're assuming that it's probably because President Xi Jinping declared boosting domestic consumption to be the top priority in 2025. So maybe providing a little bit more money for public servants might help to bolster consumption as they will have more money to spend.
back 페이먼트라는 거는 밀린 지급을 이제 뒤늦게 준다라는 뜻이죠. 그래서 그런 노트만 있고 그다음에 통장에 돈이 생각했던 것보다 많이 들어와서 직원들이 공무원들이 아주 어떻게 보면 선물을 받은 것 같은 기분도 들었을 것
A
같고요.
nice little bonus at the beginning of the year.
Absolutely. 자, 이걸 누가 전했느냐? Sources familiar with the matter.
Right. So sources familiar with the matter is often used when we don't want to name a particular source, and a source is usually a person that provides information. So we see this a lot in newspapers, and a source could be a person who told you the news, or it could also be like a newspaper itself.
Yeah.
We usually use this when we are talking about like a source. It could be, the direct source, but it could also be the newspaper that we got the information from.
출처라는 뜻도 있고요. 소식통이라는 의미로도 쓸 수 있습니다. 여기서는 사람이니까 소식통이겠죠? Familiar with the matter. 이 문제에 이제 해당되는 이 일에 정통한 소식통. Sources familiar with the matter.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons the government seems to have raised the pay was to boost morale.
Right. So we use boost morale, or it means to increase the confidence and cheerfulness of a group of people. So, for example, you might try to boost morale by, if you're like a company, you could try to offer bonuses, or maybe you could hold like safety exercises. So doing some sort of group activity together could make the employees more friendlier and maybe give them a sense of unity and boost morale.
morale이라는 게 그 사기를 말합니다. 우리가 사기를 북돋기 위해서, 높이기 위해서 여러 가지를 할 수 있겠죠. 뭐 학생들 같은 경우에는 잘한다 이렇게 칭찬을 해줄 수 있고 할 수 있어 이렇게 응원을 할 수도 있겠고.
Did you have like pep rallies when you were in school?
Yeah,
Yeah, that could boost morale. Yeah.
But in this case, we're talking about civil servants. 공무원들은 어떻게 해서 이렇게 사기를 진작하게 됐느냐? 바로 이제 돈을 더 받음으로 인해서
We could definitely.
사기가 북돋게 되죠. 그렇게 하면은 그 외에도 뭐 spur spending이라는 것은 소비를 더 많이 하도록 한다라는 그런 취지에서 아마 공무원들의 연봉이 인상이 된 것 같습니다. 10년 만이래요. 자, 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. China has awarded a range of civil servants across the nation their first significant pay rise in years, according to sources familiar with the matter, as policymakers try to boost morale and spur spending. Here's our next headline.
The city of New York has debuted a new toll for drivers entering the center of Manhattan, meaning that drivers will pay $9 to access the busiest part of the Big Apple during peak hours.
미국 뉴욕시가 맨하튼 도심 지역에서 교통 혼잡 통행료를 받기 시작했습니다. 이에 따르면 혼잡 시간대에 이 지역에 진입하는 운전자들은 $9를 내게 됩니다.
Yeah, I doubt people are happy about this, but it's a new toll. So it's for drivers that enter the center of the city. And it debuted on Sunday local time. So people will have to pay $9 to be able to get into that busiest part of the city.
Yep.
It's known as congestion pricing.
Yep.
So it's meant to reduce traffic in this very densely packed city. And also they're hoping that the money will raise money to help fix its ailing public transit infrastructure, which I think New York is infamous for the public transit system. So the cost, apparently, it depends on what time of the day it is and if drivers have what's called an Easy Pass, which is an electronic toll collection system that's used in a lot of the U.S. states. So drivers with this Easy Pass will get paid $9, or they'll get dinged $9 to enter Manhattan south of Central Park on weekdays between 5 a.m. and 9 p.m. and on weekends between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. And during off hours, it will be only $2.25. But this is on top of tolls that drivers already have to pay for crossing various bridges and tunnels to get to the city in the first place. So it's quite a lot if you think about it. And they say that apparently President-elect Donald Trump has vowed to kill the program when he takes office, but it's unclear if he will actually follow through. They do say that other big cities around the world, including London, Stockholm, have similar congestion pricing schemes, but it is the first in the U.S.
미국에선 처음으로 이렇게 도심지에 들어갈 때 혼잡 통행료, 교통 혼잡 통행료를 받게 되는 거예요. 시에서 받는 거죠. 운전자는 돈을 내는 거고 $9씩 내야 됩니다. 이제 시간대가 물론 있어가지고요. 예를 들자면 새벽에 간다든지 그러면 그때는 혼잡하지 않으니까.
Yeah, so after like
비싸지
9,
않은데,
you
그렇죠.
won't have to pay as much.
네, 그러나 이제 보통 아침부터 밤 9시 정도까지는 $9의 교통 혼잡 통행료를 내게 됩니다.
It's pretty expensive.
그렇죠. 우리 돈으로 그러면은 10,000원이 넘는 거잖아요. 아닌가요? $10니까 그 정도.
Yeah.
네. 그리고 이제 그 돈을 가지고 그러면 뭘 하느냐? 아마 이제 대중교통 인프라에 돈을 쓰게 될 것 같고, 그다음에 이제 돈을 부과함으로 인해서 운전하는 거를 좀 저지하는 거죠. 가능하면 나 그 돈을 내느니 난 그냥 대중교통 이용할게 하는 사람이 좀 더 늘기를 바라는 것 같아요.
I don't know. I mean, for me, honestly, maybe try to fix up the public transit infrastructure, then maybe people will
Use it more.
use it more.
That makes sense as well. 자, toll. What's a toll?
A toll is a charge that is payable for a permission to use a particular bridge or a road.
통행료입니다. 그래서 우리 그 통행 게이트, toll gate라고 하죠. 네, 그 통행료를 내는 게이트라서 그렇게 부르고 TOLL인데요. toll이 아니라 toll이라고
Yeah.
보통 약간 O 발음을 강하게 발음하고요. 미국이나 영국이나. Peak hours.
Peak hours. So peak hours is the busiest times of day when there is increased traffic or there could be longer wait times and higher demand for services. So it doesn't have to be a certain time. It could vary depending on the location and type of activity. For example, the peak hours at a hospital could be a little bit different than the peak hours at on the roads during rush hour. Yeah.
가장 혼잡한 시간대를 peak hours라고 할 수 있겠죠. peak라는 게 정상이라는 뜻이니까 산의 정상. 우리가 여행할 때도 성수기가 있고 비수기가 있는데 그 성수기를 보통은 peak season이라고 표현을 하고요. 그다음에 또 가장 어떤 상점이 바쁜 시간대도 peak hours. 여기서는 이제 도로가 가장 혼잡한 시간대 peak hours. P-E-A-K. 자, 다시 읽어보겠습니다. The city of New York has debuted a new toll for drivers entering the center of Manhattan, meaning that drivers will pay $9 to access the busiest part of the Big Apple during peak hours. 하나만 더 언급을 하자면은 이 Big Apple이 뉴욕의 별명입니다.
Yeah. Big Apple. I think it has a lot of nicknames.
또 있어요?
I think it's also called the City of Dreams, the Big Apple. But I know that New York has a lot of different nicknames.
네, 도시마다 이런 닉네임들이 있는 것 같아요. Chicago, Windy City
Yep.
이런 식으로.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the final headline.
The Oxford English Dictionary has added 7 Korean words, including 달고나, 막내, and 떡볶이, marking the first significant update of Korean vocabulary since 2021.
옥스퍼드 영어 사전에 달고나, 막내, 떡볶이 등 한국어 단어 7개가 새로 추가되면서 2021년 이후 이 사전의 한국어 어휘가 다수 업데이트됐습니다. 자, 이제는 이 단어들, 달고나, 막내, 떡볶이 같은 게 영어 원어민한테 외래어인 거예요. 그래서 그대로 사용하게 됩니다. 이제 우리가 뭐 떡볶이를 굳이 설명할 필요가 없는 거예요.
Yeah.
뭐 spicy rice cakes with 뭐 이런 거 필요 없어요. 그냥 떡볶이 하면 돼요.
Look it up in the dictionary.
네. 그리고 I am the youngest sibling in my family 이런 거 필요 없어요. I'm the 막내.
Yeah.
이러면 됩니다.
Yeah.
What else made it on the list?
Yeah, I mean, and it shows how often and frequently these words are actually being used in English-speaking countries, I guess. So the other words, we mentioned that 7 words were
Yeah.
added, and it was through the December update. So they include 노래방, we mentioned 막내, there was 찌개, 떡볶이, and 판소리 as well. There was, and it marks... And 형, right? And it marks a significant addition to the Korean origin word since September of 2021, when 26 words were added to the dictionary, and they included, 한류, there was 먹방, 대박, K-drama. These words were all added back then.
제가 이게 기억나는 게 2021년 9월에 우리가 모닝 스페셜에서 그걸 다뤘었어요.
Yeah.
대거 이제 한국어 단어들이 옥스퍼드 사전에 등재됐다. 근데 거기에 올라간 26개의 단어 중에 언니, 오빠, 누나가 있었거든요. 그래서 제가 형은 형은 왜 안 올라갔지? 이렇게 생각을 했는데 이번에 올라갔군요.
Now it's on there, yeah. So,
형들 분발하세요.
what
K culture에 조금 더 참여하시기 바랍니다.
Oh, that's funny. Maybe they just weren't mentioned a lot in popular culture.
I guess.
Huh.
But now it's
there. Yeah, it's there. So 막내 is there as well.
그러게 말입니다. 막내.
Yeah. And 달고나, as we mentioned, 달고나 became popular, I think, thanks to the popular series,
of course.
Squid Game. And 막내, I think, became popular because of they always talk about the 막내 in these idol groups.
Ah, that's why.
Yeah.
Because, as a maji, I saw this.
They need that on the dictionary as well.
Maji? Why do they only have
The
막내?
eldest. I think that will probably make it onto the dictionary as well.
몇 년 후에 올라갈 것 같네요, 마지.
And the really positive thing about this is, as we mentioned, it kind of reflects that global spread of Korean culture, particularly through popular media and cuisine. And they say that Korean-related words are expected to be updated annually from now on, and Korean food terms are also expected to continue to be added to the dictionary as well.
진짜 그 K-pop 그룹들 얘기하니까 저도 그런 인터뷰 장면을 몇 번 본 것 같아요. 블랙핑크의 리사도 여러 번 I'm the 막내 of the group, which means I'm the youngest in the group 이러면서 이제 영어로 말을 하지만 거기서 I'm the 막내 of the group 이렇게 말하는 거 보고 이제 사람들이
Now everyone knows.
이제 잘 받아들이겠는데 했는데 역시나 그런 이유 때문에 이 단어가 이제 그 sibling들 형제들의
that hierarchy.
순서 중에서는 유일하게 지금 올라가 있는 것 같아요.
Because it's very important. And I think it's also because the BTS member, Jungkook, I think he's the youngest of the group.
그러니까
and he did phenomenally well.
맞아요.
Yeah.
그 K-pop 멤버들이 꼭 자신이 막내인 거를
They like
말하죠.
to, because it's important for them because they're the youngest, but if they're doing well, then they like to say, I'm the youngest of the group. But and I think Jungkook's called like the golden 막내.
오, is he?
Yeah.
그래요. 그럼 표현을 보겠습니다. Including.
All right. So including means containing as part of the whole, being considered.
include는 포함하는 거고요. including A, B, and C 이런 것들 포함한다, 포함하여 이런 뜻이고요. update.
Update. So update means it's an act basically of bringing something or someone up to date or an updated version of something.
네, 우리말로도 그대로 쓰지만 우리말로는 업데이트 사음절인데요. 영어에선 이음절입니다. update. 이렇게. 그래서 음절이 또 중요하긴 해요. 영어에서.
yeah.
네, 같은 단어인데 음절을 너무 많이 나누면은 가끔 못 알아들어요.
Yeah.
그래서 이제 이런 거는 영어식으로는 update라고 한다. 이렇게 알아두시면 되겠습니다. 자, 그럼 다시 한번 제가 읽어볼게요. The Oxford English Dictionary has added 7 Korean words including 달고나, 막내, and 떡볶이, marking the first significant update of Korean vocabulary since 2021. All right, well, that's it for the headlines with Karen.
So we kick off this morning with a story right here in Korea, or Korea and out to the world, as Korea's exports of agricultural goods increased by 6.1% in 2024, and that reaches a $13 billion last year. These figures are from the Ministry of Agriculture, Food, and Rural Affairs.
네, 이 헤드라인을 한번 우리가 다시 쭉 읽어볼까요? 헤드라인 자체를.
Let's
네,
do that. Let me go back to it.
1번 헤드라인입니다.
Korea's exports of agricultural goods increased by 6.1% in 2024 compared to the previous year, driven by rising overseas demand for instant noodles and processed rice products.
지난해 우리나라 농식품과 농업 전후방 산업, 이른바 K푸드 플러스 수출액이 라면과 쌀 가공식품에 대한 해외 수요가 늘면서 전년 동기 대비 6.1% 증가했습니다. Well, you briefly mentioned some of the stats there. Tell us more.
Yes, and anytime we have stats, statistics, we always want to look into what they mean.
Yeah.
You can't just read the headline and think, oh, that's it. You should look into what the numbers mean. In this case, you mentioned it too, we're talking about a sector called K-Food Plus. So this is the name that the ministry has given this sector. And K-Food Plus encompasses everything from fresh to processed foods, but also includes agricultural equipment and solutions. So it's actually really a very wide-ranging category.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things in there. But of the things that stand out from the numbers, the ministry wants to talk about how instant noodles, the number of, or exports of instant noodles has really climbed.
라면, right?
Yes, ramyeon noodles.
네.
And a lot of this is from the influence of their appearance in Korean dramas and movies.
Of course.
So this is an example of where one industry is helping shape another and vice versa.
Yeah.
So people will perhaps see a star that they like having the instant noodles on TV or on their favorite drama, and they might want to go out and buy it and try it.
Yeah, absolutely. And social media has played a big part in that as well.
Huge.
The spicy noodles are also quite popular around
There's
the world.
all sorts of challenges to see how spicy you can go,
Yeah.
how much heat your tongue can handle.
Exactly.
And also, I think it's just a well packaged. Sort of export. People, see it and they're like, oh, I want to buy it and try it out.
네, 맞아요. 이렇게 라면에 대한 해외 수요도 늘고 쌀 가공식품도 역시 인기입니다. 이게 이제 다 K푸드 플러스에 해당되는 것들인데요. K푸드 플러스라고 하면은 이 농업 전방 산업 그리고 농업 후방 산업이 다 포함되어 있습니다. 전방 산업에는 농산물을 원료로 하는 식품이나 의약품, 화장품도 포함이 된다고 하고요. 후방 산업은 비료나 농약, 농자재, 농기계 이런 것들이 포함된다고 합니다. 자, 해외 수요라는 표현을 한번 볼까요?
Yes.
Overseas demand.
Overseas demand. Demand on its own just means you want something or need something. So if you put overseas in front of it, we're talking about this kind of want or desire from all around the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Overseas, 해외, demand, 수요. And what about processed goods?
Processed. You said processed. North Americans might pronounce it processed. Same thing. So when something is processed, when you describe a food or drink as processed, it means that it has somehow changed since how it was born
Yeah.
from its original state. It has somehow been altered in the way that it's been prepared for you to eat.
네. 이 processed라고 발음하거나 processed라고 하거나 상관은 없는데요. 의미가 가공 음식, processed foods. 여기서는 processed rice products니까 쌀 가공식품이 되겠습니다.
It's probably better. I'm not a health expert, obviously, to lower your dependence on processed foods. I think
Yeah.
that's just a generally known fact. My husband loves processed foods, so
yeah.
we try to go on a we read this somewhere, but if the food didn't exist 100 years ago, it's probably a processed food.
Interesting. Yep.
So
All
it's a
right.
good way to think about it sometimes when you're reaching into your pantry.
Exactly. All right, well, I'm going to read the headline again. Korea's exports of agricultural goods increased by 6.1% in 2024 compared to the previous year, driven by rising overseas demand for instant noodles and processed rice products. Now let's move on to the next headline.
This year's Consumer Electronics Show, the biggest tech event of the year, has kicked off in Las Vegas with over 4,500 exhibitors, including Korean tech giants Samsung and LG, leaning heavily into artificial intelligence.
세계 최대 가전 정보기술 전시회인 CES 2025가 미국 라스베이거스에서 개막했습니다. 우리나라를 대표하는 IT 대기업 삼성과 LG를 비롯해 전 세계 4,500개 이상의 기업이 참여한 올해 행사에서는 인공지능 AI를 활용한 제품이 대세인 것으로 알려졌습니다. Last year as well, AI was the main theme, but this year it's no exception, except we're just getting more and more advanced.
More and more advanced and more into it.
Yep.
In fact, for this year's theme, which is Dive In, the show wants to look at how AI can be used even more
Yeah.
to sort of help or solve a lot of the global issues that we face. So whether in medicine or, for rescues or, just education, in all sorts of sectors, how we can use artificial intelligence to better our lives. And CES, if you've ever been there, is a humongous show.
Have you been?
I've been. I went a few years back for work, and it is really ginormous, or really gigantic.
Right.
It's impossible to cover it all on foot. But it's a chance for businesses to go and show off what they have. And I believe this year, after the US and after China, I think Korea might have the most number of companies represented there.
Yep, it's quite likely. We are an IT powerhouse. Well, I watched the keynote speech by NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang.
Yes.
And he mentioned something called agentic AI. So that's using AI as an agent. And it's basically becoming more and more prevalent in everything.
Right.
And as you said earlier on, it's becoming more advanced. So wherever your imagination goes, AI is likely to already be there.
Right. I think we discussed last week about Professor Jeffrey Hinton saying, AI is kind of going to make us stupider, or I think those were his words, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah,
but I think the dependence on it can be sometimes alarming. We take for granted that maybe your refrigerator talks to your rice cooker, and your rice cooker is connected to your washing machine and your smartwatch and everything. But I think it's something we have to come to accept now.
그렇습니다. 정말 갈수록 진보하는 이 AI 기술이라는 거 우리도 뭐 읽어서 많이 알겠지만 이번에 CES 2025의 기조연설을 맡았던 엔비디아의 젠슨 황이 그런 얘기를 좀 많이 하더라고요. 이번에는 아주 놀라운 속도로 진보하는 AI를 소개할 것이다. 근데 뭐 이 회사뿐만 아니라 우리나라 회사, 다른 회사들도 다 마찬가지겠죠. 그래서 보고 만질 수 있는 물리적인 AI도 이번에 기대하시라. 이런 얘기를 했습니다. 자, 근데 이렇게 굉장히 많은 기업들이 참여를 하는데요. 전시하는 데에 참여하는 기업들, exhibitor.
Yes. You say it with a nice strong T there. Exhibitor is also fine too. The verb in there is to exhibit, E-X-H-I-B-I-T. And to exhibit something is to show something, to show off something, to talk about it in kind of a public space. So an exhibitor with an O-R at the end is somebody that does that. In the context of CES or any of these fairs or shows, we can say exhibitor. Often we say vendors because you are selling something. You can also be just a booth. Often we say, you have a booth there. So these are all the companies that are trying to get their products out there.
그렇죠. 자, 여기서 말하는 exhibitor, exhibition이랑 어원이 같습니다. exhibition은 전시, exhibitor는 전시회를 여는 주최자, 사람이나 회사나 이런 것들 다 exhibitor. 미국식 발음으로는 exhibitor. 맞아요?
Oh, you exaggerated that at the
아닌가요?
end. No, exhibitor.
exhibitor. Okay. 자, 그 다음에 leaning heavily into AI라는 표현이 있는데 lean 볼까요?
Lean, L-E-A-N. We know the song, Lean on Me
Oh, yeah.
when you're not strong. The action of leaning, L-E-A-N, is when you move your body back. If you, on the Korean elevators, there's that...
기대지 마세요.
when you put your body back on the
Yeah.
wall, or against the doors, it tells you not to do that. But when you do this, when you lean on something, you might rely on something, you might depend on something. And here, leaning heavily into AI, it means moving more into that subject or topic.
그렇죠.
Emphasizing it more.
네, 어딘가 기대다라는 뜻이 있기 때문에 여기서는 이번에 CES 2025가 어느 쪽의 방향을 맞춰서 전시를 하는지 그걸 보여주고 있네요. Leaning heavily into something 그러면은 아주 이쪽에 초점을 많이 맞췄다. AI에 초점을 많이 맞췄다가 되겠고 사람 같은 경우는 지금 말씀하신 것처럼 lean on me. 나한테 의지해. 나 믿어. 이런 느낌이 되겠죠.
Right. If you have a problem, you might lean on a friend and tell them about your problems. So that means you're emotionally leaning on someone.
Yeah, exactly. L-E-A-N. 자, lean on 하고 lean into가 이렇게 좀 다릅니다. lean into AI가 여긴 쓰였어요.
Right.
자, 다시 한번 제가 읽어보겠습니다. This year's Consumer Electronics Show, the biggest tech event of the year, has kicked off in Las Vegas with over 4,500 exhibitors, including Korean tech giants Samsung and LG, leaning heavily into artificial intelligence.
A strong earthquake hit a high-altitude region of western China and areas of Nepal on Tuesday, damaging hundreds of houses, littering streets with rubble, and killing at least 126 people in Tibet.
지난 화요일 중국 서부 고산지대와 네팔 일부 지역에 강력한 지진이 발생해 가옥 수백 채가 파손되고 거리에 잔해가 쌓인 한편 티벳에서는 최소 126명의 사망자가 발생했습니다. Tell us more.
Yes, so this earthquake so far right now has taken 126 lives, and also now the number of injuries are obviously being counted as the hours go by, but at least 188 people were injured in Tibet on the Chinese side of the border. These figures from the Xinhua news agency.
Right. A high altitude area is an area that is high up, I assume.
Yes. So altitude is how we measure how far up or how high something is from sea level. But in easier terms, it just is usually a mountainous region, something that's an area that's high above.
Yep.
And that's where, this earthquake struck. It came in at 7.1. On the Richter scale.
It's pretty strong.
It's very strong.
yeah.
I think, it may have been adjusted to 6.9, but 6.9, 7.1, they're all very, very strong earthquakes.
Exactly. 자, 여기서 말하는 high altitude에서의 altitude는 고도가 되겠습니다. 그래서 매우 고도가 높은 지역이다. High altitude region of Western China. 그 다음에 this earthquake littered streets with rubble.
Litter, L-I-T-T-E-R, litter, is a verb to mean to scatter something all around. Usually we don't use it for something good that's being scattered around. We usually use it for trash,
Yep.
for rubbish, for things that shouldn't be where they are. So when you litter something around, it's sort of like throwing something everywhere.
Sure.
And in this case, because of the effect of the earthquake, it littered the ground with, parts of houses and unfortunately human bodies and debris.
Yeah. Litter, L-I-T-T-E-R. The word itself means rubbish or trash or garbage.
When you use it as a noun.
That's right.
Right.
And it can be used in this case, as we see here, as a verb as well. litter가 이제 명사일 때는 쓰레기라는 뜻이 있습니다. 그래서 외국에서 이런 간판 보셨을지 모르겠어요. 그 쓰레기 무단 투기 하지 마세요. 그냥 아무데나 버리지 마세요. 라는
Right.
뜻으로 no littering 이런 표시 많이 있거든요. 외국에.
No littering, and sometimes it will be followed by the fine you will have to pay.
그럴
So
수
if you are
있죠.
caught littering, you might have to pay $100 or whatever.
Yes. 그때 이제 쓰레기 버린다라는 뜻으로 쓸 수도 있고 여기서는 뭐 어떤 의미냐면은요. 이 지진으로 인해서 굉장히 많은 잔해가 여기저기 흩어져 있다라는 뜻으로 littered around the streets. You can see rubble or debris. 그래서 여기저기 흩어져 있다. 이런 의미가 되겠습니다.
Yes. And as a hopeful note, though, more than 400 people were rescued trapped from under rubble. We don't know to what degree they were trapped, how
Yep.
deeply they were trapped, but in any case, more than 400 people have so far been rescued. Obviously, as the hours go by, the chance of rescue does go down, not so much really from the earthquake itself, but from the hypothermia that people are likely suffering in these sub-zero temperatures overnight there in that region.
And that means you're suffering from extremely cold weather.
Extremely cold weather, hypothermia. So we're cold here, but if you imagine being, stuck underground or under a building in this weather overnight, that's what's, probably doing a lot of damage.
그렇죠. 저체온증을 말합니다. 또 참고로 이 리터라는 게 우리 그냥 일상적으로 선생님 예문도 하나 준비하신 걸로 알고 있는데 그냥 책상이 이제 어지러져 있을 때 아니면 방 바닥이 굉장히 어지러울 때 여기저기 물건이 흩어져 있다.
Right.
이렇게도 쓸 수 있는 거죠.
Oh, absolutely, yes. So, it might be your desk, it might be your child's room, it could be your car. If something is very messy and stuff is littered everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. 자,
Or
그럼 다시
excuse me,
한번.
the room or the space is littered with is how we have
with
have
something.
it here. Yes.
Yes. 자, 다시 한번 제가 읽어보겠습니다. A strong earthquake hit a high-altitude region of western China and areas of Nepal on Tuesday, damaging hundreds of houses, littering streets with rubble, and killing at least 126 people in Tibet. Let's move on to the next headline.
British researchers have unearthed some 200 dinosaur footprints dating back 166 million years in an exhilarating find believed to be the biggest in the United Kingdom.
영국 연구팀이 1억 6,600만 년 전 공룡 발자국 200여 개를 발견했습니다. 학계에 큰 낭보가 될 이번 발자국 유적은 아마도 영국 내 최대 규모가 될 것으로 보입니다. 그러니까 이 발자국 200여 개를 발견했는데 이게 나이가 1억 6,600만 년 정도가 된다는 거죠. 어마어마하네요. Tell us more.
Well, imagine how exciting scientists must have been to uncover these footprints, these giant footprints. It's like a real-life Jurassic Park sort of
Yeah.
situation that they are imagining. The site that they found features 5 extensive trackways with the longest continuous track of footprints stretching almost 500 feet in length. So this is pretty huge
Yeah,
as far as
exactly.
the area goes.
Yeah. They discovered this, or they unearthed it. What does that mean?
So we have in there earth, E-A-R-T-H, to mean the land. So when you unearth something, one word, when you unearth something, unearth, that means you are finding something, discovering something, and it usually has the meaning of something that was hidden or underground, either on purpose or not, but something that is covered by something else and you dig it out.
그렇죠. 땅 속에 있던 것을 발굴해내는 것을 unearthing이라고 합니다. earth가 지구라는 뜻도 있지만요. 우리 그 땅이라는 의미가 있기 때문에 땅 속에 있는 것을 파내다 unearthing이라고 합니다.
And it doesn't always have to be for something physical like this, like dinosaur footprints. It can be for, let's say, a secret, like the family unearthed an old secret,
So
or
it's used figuratively.
right, to something about something that maybe wasn't known.
그래요. 뭔가를 알아내다라는 의미로 비유적으로도 쓸 수 있겠네요. What about exhilarating?
Exhilarating. Let's get a spelling here. E-X-H-I-L-A-R-A-T-I-N-G with the exhilarating, with the Z sound in there. It means to be extremely happy. It means for something to be very amazing,
Yeah.
to cause some kind of joy in your heart. Exhilarating. It's not just happy, it's like very happy.
Exciting is another similar word.
Very similar.
굉장히 기쁘다라는 뜻이 있습니다. 그래서 이게 quotation 마크 안에 들어간 이유는 실제로 이 단어를 쓴 모양이에요. 과학자들이 너무나
I
기쁘다라고
think that's
하면서.
how happy the scientists
그렇죠.
were.
네. 그래서 this is an exhilarating find. 뒤에 나온 find가 명사입니다. 그래서 발굴된 것 굉장히 기쁘다. 이런 표현이 되겠고요.
We wouldn't just say this when we're a little bit happy, right?
Very, very happy.
Like if you like your lunch today, you wouldn't say it was exhilarating.
No.
But maybe if you see something amazing, like your heart has to leap
Yeah,
and jump out of your chest.
정말 기쁠 때 쓰는 표현이라서 뭐 very happy times
A
10.
million.
Oh, I was going to say times 10. But okay, a million.
A million.
Okay.
That's when you would say something is exhilarating.
그래요. 자, 그럼 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. British researchers have unearthed some 200 dinosaur footprints dating back 166 million years in an exhilarating find believed to be the biggest in the United Kingdom. All right, well, let's move on to the next headline.
Vietnam, famous for its motorcycles and bustling traffic, has significantly raised traffic violation fines in the new year, increasing them by up to 50 times the previous limits.
오토바이와 혼잡한 교통으로 유명한 베트남에서 당국이 올해부터 교통법규 위반에 대한 범칙금을 종전 대비 최대 50배까지 크게 올린 것으로 전해졌습니다. Wow, 50 times.
That's a big jump.
It is a big jump.
So for our final story, we head over to Southeast Asia, to Vietnam, which, as we say, is very famous for its many, many motorcycles and crazy traffic. And authorities are cracking down. Starting from, they started January 1st of this year, and they want to crack down on these traffic violations. So fines will, or fines have already gone up, and people are really feeling this.
Yeah, absolutely. Fine이라는 게 벌금이죠. 범칙금이 되겠고, bustling traffic으로 유명한 베트남이군요. Bustling.
Bustle is the verb in there, B-U-S-T-L-E. The T is silent. That's why you don't hear it when we say it. Bustle. So to bustle is to move about busily, to kind of, be wild and crazy in motion. When something is described as bustling, it describes something that is, there's a lot of action.
Yeah.
And moving around, a lot of noise and
Hustle and bustle.
Hustle and bustle is often used together to describe kind of an active scene.
그렇죠. 자, 여기서 bustle은 B-U-S-T-L-E 이렇게 쓰는데요. bustling이라는 것은 매우 북적거리는 이라는 뜻입니다. The hustle and bustle of everyday life. 그러면은 매일매일의 그 아주 바쁜 것을 묘사하고 있거든요.
Right.
여기서는 bustling traffic. 베트남에서는 이렇게 아주 붐비는 그런 혼잡한 교통이 잘 알려져 있다. 이런 의미가 되겠고.
And I think it doesn't just have the meaning of being busy, but it's like moving, right?
yeah,
So it's like
that's right.
popping like popcorn. So it wouldn't just be busy, but like kind of, still. It's sort of like a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, a little chaotic
A
almost.
little bit chaotic,
Yeah.
maybe a little bit hectic.
Got
Like a busy shopping mall with lots of people moving around is bustling.
그러네요. 많은 움직임이 있는 그런 이미지가 연상이 되는 단어고요.
Right.
참고로 베트남 이 단어는 영어로도 삼음절이긴 한데 베트남이라고 하지 않고요. 영어로는 Vietnam 이렇게 발음합니다. 이거 참고로 알아두시고요.
Vietnam.
그다음에 traffic violation.
Traffic violation. A violation is when you go against something. So if you are guilty of a traffic violation, you have broken a rule regarding the streets.
네, traffic violation은 교통 위반이 되겠죠. 자, 그럼 다시 한번 제가 읽어보겠습니다. Vietnam, famous for its motorcycles and bustling traffic, has significantly raised traffic violation fines in the new year, increasing them by up to 50 times the previous limits.